come here to discuss about the ERF fund. Here is present with Mr. Runganaikaloo, team leader of ERF Takao. Welcome.
Thank you.
ERF fund, ERF fund is contributing to expand export-oriented product in Bangladesh. What's your plan? Please explain.
Sure. Yes, very briefly, the ERF Export Readiness Fund is a component of the larger EC4J, which stands for Export Competitiveness for Jobs program that is managed under the Ministry of Commerce through a World Bank finance loan. And similar to the EC4J, the objective of ERF is to help boost the export prospects for 4 key sectors: leather goods, footwear, plastics, and the light engineering sectors. But very recently, we've also added a 5th sector, which is MPPE, so the medical and personal protective equipment sector as well. Given the COVID situation, that's also been identified as a potential sector for growth in Bangladesh. And essentially our program has been established to help enterprises from those sectors to give them a boost so that they're able to further expand or enhance their performance on the export sectors, or for those that are not yet exporting but have plans to export and they want to make the necessary investments, whether it's technology and infrastructure or systems and compliances to meet the export market demands. So our program now has been running for about 2 years in terms of the start of implementation, and we funded 45 projects to date across those sectors. We have a fund of 17.5 million US that has been budgeted to the program, of which half of it is now more or less committed. So there's still some funding left, but we have a growing pipeline of projects.
Could you tell me how many enterprises or companies in this country already have been contributed by ERF?
Yes. Well, we had a first window which did some assessments of enterprises, and 460 enterprises in Bangladesh participated and benefited from that particular pocket of funding. And since then, in terms of formal implementation projects, we have supported 45 to date, and it's growing. There's ongoing applications of the process.
Could you clarify the criteria mentioned by the ERF to contribute the funding?
Sure. Yeah. In terms of criteria, they should come from those sectors that I identified. They need to have an existing track record of at least 3 years in operation. They must be majority local owned and operated with a functional factory of operations. And providing, very briefly, if they meet that eligibility criteria and have aspirations to improve upon their factory operations and compliances, to go into the export markets, they could possibly qualify for a grant from us, in which we can give grant support for them to invest in machinery and infrastructural changes within the factory so that they're able to increase their productivity, increase their systems, increase their performance, so that they're able to better produce their products and increase production levels. Also, a number of markets and a number of foreign buyers have compliances that you need to adhere to. Like, for example, ISO 9000 for quality management systems, ISO 14000 for environmental systems, buyer-specific systems, and social accountability systems that need to be implemented. So we can assist those enterprises to invest in putting those systems in place and also covering the certification costs so that they're able to implement them, get certified, meet the buyer's requirements, and enter the export markets. So those are the types of areas that we support and have been supporting over the past several months. As I said, we have a growing pipeline, but we would expect in let's say the next 4 to 6 months, it will be more or less fully committed with projects and a good show of representation of enterprises, particularly SMEs, within the Bangladeshi private sector that will benefit and help boost the
As I
exports.
understand from your speech, the ERF basically a grant or donations.
It's a grant, yes.
It's a grant.
Yeah, we can provide a grant of up to $40,000 for window. We have three functioning windows right now. We have what's called Window 2, which is the small grants window. We provide up to $40,000 grant support there. We have a bigger window that provides up to $200,000 grant support. That's Window 3. And Window 4, that's the window that's been created to support the MPP sector, and we can provide up to $500,000 grant support to enterprises seeking grant support from that window.
You know, Bangladesh is celebrating its 50 years of independence, even 100 years of the father of the nation's birth centenary. This country is illuminating, and the economy of this country is enhancing, expanding regularly. Already the government has taken plan to set up 100 economic zone, 100 economic zone throughout the country. Already established few, and the plan is to complete within 1 decade. Do you think that is it an opportunity for those who are taking their enterprise into this scale?
Yes, I think the objectives of our program definitely complement the government's objectives of these economic zones and the further growth of the country. And as you know, the country is now more or less graduating and moving into middle income status, so it needs to make the necessary investments, planning, policy revisions and development, so that it's able to better position the country to strengthen its position in the world as a middle income country, and diversify its economic standing in terms of the industry sectors that have potential for growth in this country. Because as you know, it's been predominantly, at least from an export perspective, it's been predominantly RMG to date in terms of where exports are moving. So our fund, along with other policy developments that government is making, is helping to boost other sectors to also contribute to the export diversification of the country, creating more jobs, bringing in remittances and revenue, foreign investment into the country, and also revenue coming from the export markets to further increase the GDP and the growth of the country economically through the promotion and development of those key sectors.
World Bank, what is your next plan about the ERF fund expansion?
Yeah. Well, right now we are. I would say we are in the middle stages of implementation of our program, and we are in the process right now of revisiting where the program is, the key sectors it's supporting, the number of enterprises it can support, and the types of interventions that we can support. So I think probably in the next quarter, the January to March quarter coming into the new year, we will be in a position to take stock of where we are, what have been the achievements, where are the areas that we can further develop the program, and then from there possibly there could be room for increasing our portfolio of support to these key enterprises, the key sectors in Bangladeshi industry, and continue for a period longer. But that will probably be able to further communicate more on that in the coming months after our reviews, because there's currently a program review being undertaken.
What does expect our small and medium industries were running out of the 4 sectors, especially export-oriented products, but not mentioned to meet your 4 criteria?
Right.
What's your suggestions about the ERF fund expansions?
Yeah. Directly, it's difficult for us to support these types of enterprises because they're not in the key sectors that we've identified. But there's opportunity through those that we collaborate. We collaborate with the likes of the SME Foundation. We collaborate with the Chambers of Commerce and Industry, with the Ministry of Commerce, the Ministry of Industry, and others, where our lessons can be applied to helping them further shape policy and support SMEs in other sectors, so that they can also receive the necessary assistance in terms of the business regulations and business support interventions that are available to other companies, so that they're able to meet the regulatory requirements and also position themselves to develop and move to exports if they can, through learning from what we've done and applying it into other areas, other industries.
Last questions. What is your predictions about the business expressions of this country?
Obviously, COVID has had influence on not just this country, everywhere. It's a global threat. But that aside, Bangladesh has been and was continuing to do so prior to the COVID infliction, moving in a very, very positive growth pattern in terms of its economic performance. And I think through further intervention of strengthening policy, development, infrastructural support for industry, the growth patterns will continue. And obviously things like climate and cross-cutting points that influence will have an influence on the growth of industry, because you need to be much more climate conscious these days, to develop industry. But with that in mind, definitely, Bangladesh has a place in the global economies for growth, and it has been moving in the correct trajectory, and I think it will continue to do so through further policy support, further development, further funding, and the necessary infrastructure and regulatory support provided. Definitely, Bangladesh is moving in the right direction, and we're proud to be part of that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear audience, he has told about the economy, especially Bangladesh economy. When I asked about the last question, what is the future of Bangladesh economy, then he told me that Bangladesh is a place, the next place of economy globally. Thank you.